Folks, welcome back to the TNT show. We're coming off another weekend of college football. Pretty interesting to say the least. We had some struggle wins. There was some, there was a few blowouts and some, like I said, some big time struggles. So we're gonna go ahead and hop into it. Tyler, I'm gonna go ahead and let you take it away.
Yeah, like you said, struggle wins, blowouts, another great week of college football. Um, some some scores I weren't really expecting, but you know, that's the luxury of college. You never know what you're gonna get. Starting off Texas Oklahoma, I thought that was gonna be a close game, but Oklahoma's they got some figuring out to do if they want to hang in the SEC.
Oh yeah.
Well, let me pump the brakes. They got a lot of injuries. They got their top five wide receivers that aren't even playing right now.
That's
Um,
big.
so they got a lot of injuries in Oklahoma. Obviously they're rolling with Hawkins. Jackson Arnold didn't even see the field when I thought that they should have put him in. Why not? If I'm him, I'm transferring. I think that there's no reason for you to stay.
At this point, yeah, no. I mean, like you said, their top five receivers are injured, so I think he wants to roll with Hawkins because he knows once he gets those guys back, it's probably a totally different story for them offensively. Personally, I would have. It sucks because those guys were hurt because I think it's a totally different game if those guys are healthy and they can play because the Oklahoma defense played great, but the offense just couldn't put anything together.
Yeah, it just got out of hand quick because Oklahoma wasn't moving the ball or scoring or doing. They weren't really doing anything, to be honest. So their defense just got wore out quick because Texas was just struggled at first, but then they just kind of got the ball rolling and Oklahoma wasn't doing nothing with it. So don't let that score fool you. It was a little closer. Oklahoma just, to be honest, couldn't do anything. So Oklahoma's still a good team.
Yeah.
The defense they got's nice.
Yeah.
They just offensively they got to get healthy and they got to make some plays. If not, they're gonna get beat like that because their defense is gonna get wore out. Um, uh, uh I had them on upset alert. Florida, Tennessee. Um, Florida had them beat. They just didn't go for two. They should have a big game like that. You got to do it. You had them beat. You decided to play smart and go to overtime and respect it, but you missed a field goal in overtime, and then Tennessee scored.
Yeah, I mean Florida played about their best game of football. I mean, it sucks that Graham Mertz got injured, but um, yeah, like you said, I mean, their season's pretty much done for at this point. So I mean, you got to just put all the marbles on the table, and when you score at the end of regulation, just go for two. I mean, win or lose, it's. I mean,
At the end of the day, you lost anyway.
yeah, you really had nothing left to lose at that point.
Yeah, beating Tennessee could have turned your season around, but instead you lost. In a heartbreak, you missed the field goal. You missed the you missed the field goal in overtime, and Tennessee runs it. Just run in college. You honestly you kind of got to go for it because in college you're on the 25. I mean,
Yeah.
one we'll get to LSU here in a minute, but all it took was one play, and we scored a touchdown. That was it.
Oh yeah.
Like honestly, in overtime, kicking a field goal really okay. It's an option if you got a good defense because the other team could throw a pick. You could stop them in four downs, but it's on the 25. It There's just too much. You're too close if the offense is rolling. So, um, Florida had a chance. They played a really good game. Graham Mertz got hurt, tore his ACL. His college career is done. That hurt. That hurt them for sure because he was playing. They were playing pretty good till he got hurt. Lagway came in, played good, but Graham Mertz was definitely the difference maker in that game for sure.
Oh yeah.
But Tennessee, this is back to back weeks. Tennessee has struggled back to back weeks that they've struggled against not necessarily good opponents. They got beat by Arkansas. Arkansas is not a bad team, but they're not a top team either. And then you struggle against Florida. Florida's terrible.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, like I said, once you get into conference play, you really see what your team is about. And so far, you see from Tennessee that their offense has consistently struggled.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Tennessee's run game. I mean, Dylan Sampson's really good. So I think they've been leaning on the run game hard because Nico is struggling some. He's a freshman. He's young. So they're leaning hard on the run game. So they got a big test coming up this week. So um Vandy beat Kentucky. Nobody's really talking about that. Back to back SEC wins. Kentucky's not the best, but they did beat Ole Miss.
yeah, that is true.
They're not even ranked. That's what's crazy to me. They handled Kentucky. Kentucky scored late.
Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying, man. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, whoever decided to go get Pavia, they need to give that man a raise because that's the best decision Vandy's ever made.
Yeah,
He might be other than like Jay Cutler, he might be the best quarterback to come through Vandy since Jay Cutler. To be 100% honest, they just beat Alabama, the number one team, and to turn around and beat Kentucky. Kentucky took Georgia to the wire.
yeah, man. I told you, man. That Vandy team, you can't count them out. I mean, since they've been in conference play, outside of that Georgia State loss, which is the outlier, they've given everybody
Yeah, they've
their
won
best
back to
shot.
back weeks.
Yeah. Outside of Vandy, had they not lost to Vandy or Georgia State, they'd be undefeated right now. Not Vandy. Had they not lost to Missouri and Georgia State, they'd be undefeated right now. And
Yeah,
honestly, the Missouri game they should have won, the Georgia State game they should have won because those were what, one possession games. They won a close
yeah.
game with Bama, and they won a close game with. They just finding ways to win, and they're handling business. So I think they keep it up. They have a shot to. It's
Shock
just gonna
some
sound
teams.
crazy. Yeah, they have a shot to run the table because they played Texas. I'm pretty sure they played Georgia. Um, who else do they play? They play another ranked team. They play another ranked team.
LSU.
Whoever. Yeah, there you go, LSU. So I don't know, man. For everybody that was making fun of Alabama to losing to Vandy, I see them upsetting at least a couple more of those teams that they got to play.
So let's look at Vandy's schedule right quick. So we got all right. They got Ball State this week. That'd be an easy win. They
I
got
don't know. They lost to Georgia
Texas.
State.
They got Texas, Auburn, South Carolina, LSU, and Tennessee. It's who is left on their slate. One, two, at least I'd say two more wins. I think I think Texas will beat them. I think Texas is going to be a little bit too much.
You never
They're going
know.
to be a little bit too physical for them.
No, I don't know. You never know.
I'm talking like defensively. I don't think that.
Uh, mm,
I mean, Texas
I
has
don't
got a
know.
really good defense.
They do.
I do see Vandy beating Auburn. Pavia ran all over Auburn last year, so I don't see that changing.
Yeah.
I think I think I think they can beat South Carolina. South Carolina's got a good defense, but offensively they just make too many mistakes. I don't know
Yeah.
what they're. I don't know what. We'll get to South Carolina here in a minute, but LSU, Tennessee, and Texas. I don't know. I don't know. That I think those will be really good games. Potential upset alerts on those 3 weeks. So, but let's not get off course. Let's jump to Alabama, South Carolina. A really good game. A nail biter for sure.
That game took a
South
turn.
Carolina had their chance, had multiple chances. They just couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, we talked during the game, we watched it. I don't know what their coach is doing.
I don't
I
know.
don't
Look,
know
from
if
what I saw, the game took the turn when they were up 14-0. On a they come out they come out and what did they do? I think he throws the pick. That's what it was. He threw the pick. South Carolina ends up scoring. And then they miss the did they miss the extra point? No, it wasn't. They got the extra point. And then they get the ball back and we get a safety. So
yep, yep, that's it.
there was a
It was like
9 point.
a crazy it was the last 30 seconds and
It
then
was like
all of a sudden it
the
went like
last minute,
downhill for
37
Alabama quick.
seconds. Yeah, it got crazy. In a minute
Yep.
and 37 seconds, we blew a 14-point lead, and then it just was downhill from there. Now, don't get me wrong, in spurts, the offense looked good and the defense looked great, but there were times where it was you really left to like scratch your head, like what is really going on right now. So I think it's a big consistency thing. That's really about it for me. They have to establish the running game more. That's one
Yeah.
thing. And stop
Yeah.
trying to put
The
Milrow.
last in bad situations.
Yeah. I mean, in some of those situations, you like when they came out and they were on their own 10-yard line and they decided to do a shotgun pass, right?
Yeah. You
Now,
talking
don't
about
get
the
me
safety?
wrong. Yeah, don't get me wrong. On that safety, that was really more Milrow's fault because he retreated from the pocket into the end zone and tried to throw it away with no receivers in the area, not being aware. So that's on him. But as a coach, if you're backed up that far, you come out and you look to establish the run. You run that ball on first down, and then you see what you want to do from there. Especially with the clock being as low as it was, you don't look to make mistakes to give the other team an advantage. It's exactly what they did.
Yeah. Because
So,
after that safety, uh Sellers fumbled and then Milrow threw a pick like the next play.
so it's. I think a lot of things are questionable, and you really don't know who to look at for it. Is it the coaching or is it the players? It's hard to say.
Mistakes
Again,
are playing a huge factor too. The penalties are killing y'all.
yeah, it's mainly defensive though. A lot of those offensively, they come kind of rarely. They clean that up after the first few weeks, but defensively, their drive, they have opportunities to get off the field, and the penalties are killing them.
Yep. The turning point and the saving grace for that game is when Sellers fumbled that RPO.
Oh yeah, when he fumbled that
When he
RPO,
fumbled that, Alabama scored on that
yeah,
because that and South Carolina they missed that field goal. When they
yep,
missed that field goal, it was a wrap because they were down too many points at that point.
yep. I
But
mean,
I
honestly,
thought there for a second when they got the onside kick, I thought Alabama was fixing to get beat.
Yep. But defense came up clutch. They got the sack, and then he had to throw the ball up, and they rushed him
Yeah,
into the throw. So they
he
made the
overthrew him.
play. They made the play. They made the play. The two plays that they needed when it mattered the most.
Yep.
So obviously they still have a ton of work to do. Which, like I told you the previous week, they're not going to have all those issues fixed in a week. It's a
Yeah.
week to week thing. So they got what I saw from them. They got better. They were a little bit better than they were the week.
Yeah. For some reason, it's just like busted coverage. Like every play South Carolina was making, the South Carolina guy, there wasn't an Alabama guy around them. They were wide open.
That one was more due to the fact that the freshman corner who was out there placing Jackson, who went down with an injury, he just had no clue what he was doing. That was really more on him than anything. So
Yeah, if you're South Carolina, you have to attack that. Of course. But you've got to bring your safety down to help him.
exactly. So
But that was a good game though. Right there at the end. That was a weird kickoff though. He drop kicked the
yeah, you can do that. You can do that.
I like that better because it doesn't bounce.
Yeah, he kicked the wobbler for sure because two Bama players had a chance to get it and they both missed.
Yeah, when you kick it like that, he kicked it so hard, and when it was spinning, it's spinning like a corkscrew. So you're not gonna. It's hard to catch.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, they sacked him, and he had the dude. When he threw it, he had him open. He just overthrew him.
Yeah.
Because he jumps up 8 times out of 10, pass interference, maybe. I don't know. Because he threw it up for grabs.
Yeah.
But that was a good game. They got some figuring out to do. Offensively, they just got a offensive line. They got to figure something out.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like you said, I agree. I don't know what they're trying to do. That shotgun thing for the safety, that didn't make any sense.
Yep.
And running it up the middle with the QB draws and whatever they're trying to do. I don't know what they're trying to do with that.
Yeah. Again, that's why, like I said, I'm speculating from a fan's perspective, so it's hard to say that they're not giving good play calls because the coaches, the offensive coordinator who's sitting up in the box, he's calling those plays because he sees a certain look. So it's maybe he is calling the right play calls, but they played a great defense, and most great defenses are going to rise to the occasion, which is exactly what South Carolina did.
Those two defensive ends they got are, I mean, really good.
Yeah,
and one of them's
they
a
were wrecking
freshman.
the game. They were wrecking the game offensively for Bama. I'm not going to lie to you.
But like you said, at the end of the day, it is what it is. They got the win. Was it pretty? No, but they won. That's all that matters.
Yep.
I want to talk. Let's talk about Oregon, Ohio State. Will Howard just made a rookie mistake. You cannot run and slide. They say there's a second left. It don't matter. You cannot run and slide with 4 seconds on the clock. You got to just throw it.
No. He made the right play because nobody was. This is the thing. He made the right play. Nobody was open. He should have slid earlier. He was trying to get more yards, which I get that.
Yeah.
But you have to slide down with at least 3 seconds left to give your coach a chance to at least run down the sideline. You get 1 second, y'all kick that field goal, y'all win the game. So,
yep.
Like I said, self-awareness kind of thing. You got to know how much time is left. You got to know, okay, I need to go ahead and give myself up now. Because here's the thing, he didn't get the first down. You have to get the first down for the clock to stop. So
he didn't run far enough. Yeah,
exactly. So that's why he has to go down earlier because, I mean, you're not at the first down.
It was a far field goal, regardless. To be honest, honestly. I don't think it probably wouldn't have mattered. He ran for a good distance, but it was still going to be about a 50-something yard field goal, regardless.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like you said, a mistake. You live and you learn. You're still in the top four. It's not like you got beat by. I mean, you got beat by a really good Oregon team.
Oregon looks good. They look really good. They look like a contender. Seriously.
Oh yeah, I mean they just beat the best team. They don't have to. They'll have to play them again. They may have to play Ohio State 3 times because
Wait,
they're
what?
going to play. They may have to play Ohio State 3 times if Ohio State makes the playoffs because they're going to have to
Oh
play them again.
yeah. You're right. You're right.
They're going to have to play them again, more than likely, in the conference championship. And say Ohio State beats them, okay, then they may have to play each other again in the playoffs. They may have to play each other 3 times. That's crazy.
Well, that depends on how the standings shake out the rest of the way for the Big Ten, because Ohio State could get left out of the conference championship.
I doubt it.
So I haven't looked at those standings, but we got to look at those standings and talk about that because I mean,
Yeah, that's going to be. Yeah, they may have to play each other. They may have to play each other again.
yeah,
More
I
than
think if they
likely.
play each other again, it's probably depending on how the rest of the season goes, they could play in the conference championship, and depending on how the playoffs go, they could see them somewhere in the playoffs.
That'd be crazy to see a team 3 times.
Yeah, that'd be insane. But I mean, with a 12-team playoff, it makes it realistic.
Yeah, we may see that a couple times.
Yeah,
But um, this to me, this was game of the week. LSU beat Ole Miss. I told you they were going to beat them.
you did. I give it to you.
It wasn't pretty. We were behind the whole game, but Lane Kiffin wasn't as aggressive as I thought he was going to be. But
Oh,
think
I
he
told you.
knew. I think he knew it was going to be a really close game, and he didn't want to lose that way because
I give it to
both
you, man.
defenses were playing really good.
Oh yeah.
You know, yeah, Ole Miss first possession, Trey Harris dropped a touchdown. That's 7
Yep.
nothing right there. They missed a field goal. That's 10-0.
Yeah.
They left a lot of points on the field for sure. But our defense played the best game that they've played in 2 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say, y'all they left points on the board, but a majority of those was because of y'all. Like if you go back and look at the game opening touchdown that Trey Harris dropped, that's really more on Ole Miss than anything. But if you go look at the 4th and 1, y'all stuffed them.
Yep.
So no points. All right, they missed a field goal. I think that's more them than it is y'all, but honestly, that's just 10 points right there. So does it make a difference? Yeah, but I mean that's just how football goes sometimes. I mean, y'all made the plays when it mattered the most.
Yep.
Y'all
I
got the
knew
matchup that y'all wanted.
those last couple drives. That's the best Nussmeiers look. We were moving the ball. There wasn't nothing Ole Miss could do. I
Yeah,
thought
y'all were.
that 4th and 5, Nuss must have some brass balls. And that offensive coordinator, he put it on a rope to Aaron Anderson. 4th and 5, and he slung it in the end zone. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he drops that, game's over.
Oh yeah.
And then, that ties it. I thought there for a split second we were going to go for it. I thought we were going to. We had them. I think if Nussmeier would have been more mobile, I know they were screaming for him to run. He had plenty of opportunities. He ran one time, and it was on that drive where we tied the game. He ran
Yeah.
one time. I think it was like one for like, I don't know, 12, 13 yards.
Yeah.
If he was just mobile, I think we would have won.
Nah, I think y'all were gonna play for the tie no matter what. Cause like Brian Kelly saw just like what I saw. There's no reason for y'all to play for the win because y'all's defense was playing so good. Y'all can take
Yep.
that to overtime with the defensive momentum that y'all had, and that's exactly what y'all did. Y'all come out in overtime, y'all get a big sack, it pushes them out of
Yep.
an opportunity to go
Then
for
they
a
got a
touchdown.
false start. Yeah, it
Yeah,
was. I knew when they kicked the field goal, it was a wrap.
yeah, I knew when they kicked the field goal, they lost because y'all started going after one of their corners like that was the matchup that y'all wanted, and that's exactly the matchup y'all ran the motion that put him one on one with Kyron Lacy, and Nussmeier just threw it up to him. Knew he was gonna make a
Yep.
play. He did.
Yep. Lasered it right to him. First play. Touchdown. Like, he came out sluggish. He threw it like 50 times. His completion percentage was terrible.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to rank, but the top two games of the week between them and Ohio State Oregon, I'd say LSU Ole Miss just because that game was pretty good. That game was pretty good. I mean, LSU overcame a lot of adversity to get that win, and the Ohio State Oregon game was like really like back and forth. Whoever got the
It was just
ball
a
last.
shootout.
Yeah, so I think LSU definitely takes the nod with Ole Miss for game of the week because I mean that game was like I said it was good. You had a lot in it. You had LSU not leading until they scored the overtime game winning touchdown. Like it was a good game.
I think defensively, we're starting to figure it out. We're starting to get a little bit healthier. Alexander came back. Whit Weeks is playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to get it figured out. We're bringing Major Burns down. He's blitzing off the side. He was tearing Jackson Dart up. We were all over
Y'all,
him.
y'all gotta carry this momentum in the next week. Y'all have to. Y'all cannot come up flat against who y'all play again next
Arkansas.
week?
Arkansas.
Yeah, that's trap game, trap game. But I'm pretty sure that's part of the predictions. So we'll get to that in a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, like you said, great performance. Yeah, great performance. I'm happy from what I've seen. If we can play like that, I don't think anybody else will beat us on our schedule. The
Yeah, not
toughest
be tough.
game, the toughest game in our predictions. I looked it up. Toughest game we got left is Texas A&M.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's probably going to be our toughest stretch. They got a really good team.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's jump into the predictions here. Let's not get too far. Where did we go? Here we go. So let's start off with some predictions. We got Auburn and Missouri. I think Missouri's going to be a little bit too much, if you want me to be honest. Auburn just can't seem to win. They're so close. They just can't. They can't. They
They
can't
can't make
win.
the plays. Yeah, they can't make the plays offensively. Defensively, I think their defense will keep them in the game, but their offense will be the reason that they lose.
Yep.
Um,
I got Missouri 28-17.
no, I think it'll be. I'm gonna say Missouri. I'm gonna say Missouri 24-10.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Auburn's going to have enough offensively. Missouri struggled here now, so Auburn's going to run the ball. It's Peyton Thorne. I know we say it's like a broken record at this point,
It's the truth.
but he seems to make the mistake when they just don't need to. Like they're in the lead. Oklahoma, they got them beat. He throws a pick six, and then it's downhill from there. They get beat.
Exactly.
They just can't seem to finish. They can't finish. There we go. They just can't finish.
Yep. I agree.
So yeah, this is a big test. This might determine. Excuse me. This might determine Hugh Freeze right here. They got a couple
Yeah,
more games where they lose.
I think they might get rid of him.
Give him a couple more losses. Say they lose it 2 or 3 more weeks in a row. it might be a wrap, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Another
mean,
huge, yeah, I don't, they've got to win here. This might be do or die, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, they, like I said, over the summer they had opportunities to go and get another quarterback. He rolled Peyton Thorne, so now he got to deal with the repercussions of that.
Yep. Live by the sword, die by the sword sometimes.
Yep, it's the truth.
We got some big games this week, to be honest.
Oh yeah.
Let's save these. Let's save. What about Bama, Tennessee? What you think about that?
Um,
We got
I
it
think
as high scoring with our little predictions, but I don't think it's going to be that high scoring. Tennessee hadn't scored more than 20 points in 2 weeks.
yeah, but Bama's
Eh,
defense is a big question mark. So I'm a
Yeah, but they're
here's
better than
here's my
Florida,
prediction.
though.
It doesn't matter. Here's my prediction: 38-35. Bama wins. Walk off field goal. Um, I think they'll have a tough time covering. You got to think they got young corners out there, and Tennessee is they play the widespread. So they're going to spread you out. They're going to look for openings in your defense. They're going to try to get certain matchups. Um,
Is
Obviously the
Jackson
running game.
hurt? Do you know? What's wrong with him?
No, I think he's good. He came back in the game.
I knew that. I just didn't know if it was like something. I know that, but I didn't know if they put him back in. Like, okay, hey man, I know you're hurting, but you've got to get back out there. Like, we're gonna get beat.
Yeah, no, I didn't
This
look into
freshman just got exposed on this route right here. Like, because after that, Jackson came back in.
Yeah. He might have just got the win knocked out of him or something. I ain't really look at the report on it, but
I didn't either.
yeah, nah, the defense is just too big of a question mark to say that they're gonna hold Tennessee to like
Yeah,
10, 13,
and South
17 points.
Carolina's got a good defense. Tennessee's might be even better.
So, exactly. So
Well, they had a close game, but they still got it. Their defense stood tall when it mattered the most.
yeah.
And Tennessee's got a solid run game with Dylan Sampson. Alabama doesn't let people run all over them all the time, but Dylan Sampson's a really good running back. But this is
So
Alabama we're talking about. Every time somebody
the
gets a lot of height, Alabama's defense stands tall when it matters the most. So this is huge for Alabama. This is probably the biggest game of their season right here. This
yeah, I mean
determines whether or not this probably determines your season, if you want me to be honest.
yeah, I mean Tennessee. I think Tennessee can win the game if Nico has a big game.
And one thing, I'm not saying this because I don't like Alabama. I'm not trying to be biased or anything against them. But Alabama's been making a lot of mistakes in these last 3 games. I'd say 2 games and 2 quarters. Alabama's just, they're shaky. They start off strong, and I don't know what happens. It's like they fall off a cliff. It's like the other team just, I don't know what's happening. South Carolina,
Yeah.
they were dominating South Carolina, and then all of a sudden it just, the table turned so fast.
Exactly.
So they're gonna have to play a really good game. Tennessee struggled, Nico struggled, so I think Alabama can win. I got Tennessee with a walk-off field goal. I think it's gonna be close. It honestly might come down to whoever gets the ball last. I wouldn't say a shootout, but
I think it could
the
definitely
way
be a
you
shootout.
beat Alabama is possession. If you hold the ball, you can beat them. Just don't make mistakes. South Carolina had them beat, made mistakes. Tennessee doesn't make
Yeah.
mistakes. I think they can beat them, but I see a close game. It's going to be a field goal. Somebody's going to kick a game-winning field goal. The way I think, that's what I think. Whether it be Alabama or Tennessee.
Yeah.
We got LSU, Arkansas. Like you said, possible trap game. You're coming off of a huge win, Death Valley at night. You're coming off of a homecoming win at that. So, like you said, you're coming off. You don't want to come off of a big game like that and drop to Arkansas. They're not a bad team. They just beat Tennessee 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
So, like you said, you can't come out flat. You got to carry that momentum from Ole Miss into Arkansas. We're going to Arkansas.
Ooh.
It's a huge rivalry for us. Battle for the boot.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be a great game.
So it's a night game too. It's at 6:00. Night game, Arkansas.
Yeah,
Battle
that's
for the
a trap
boot
game. That's trap game. All
written
caps.
all over it.
Nah, like I said, I think LSU can carry that momentum over. I think Arkansas's quarterback, he's very mistake prone. So I think y'all's defense is gonna cause him to make some mistakes. And I think y'all can win that game by possession. I'm gonna say 28-14 LSU.
I got us winning 38-21. I think we're just gonna make. I think we're gonna make too many plays. Like I think we're gonna be a little bit too much for Arkansas. Arkansas's got a pretty good team now. They got a good run game. I'm a little worried about that. But I said it in Ole Miss, and I'll say it again. I don't care if we give up 1,000 yards. Bend, but don't break. Yeah, we gave up a ton of yards to Ole Miss, but they didn't score. I don't care.
That's true.
I don't care if their running back runs for 900 yards. I don't care. Just don't let them score. You care less how many yards we give. I don't care.
There you go. That's the best way to look at it.
So, I think I like what I see from our offense. Yes, I want Nussmeier to run more, but the way I look at it, if he runs and gets hurt, our seasons. It's probably over. Just because of the way we run our offense right now. Here's a perfect example. When Jaden Daniels got hurt in the Georgia game, Nussmeier came in. Totally different offense. Yeah, we were scoring because Nussmeier is going to throw it 40 times a game. He's going to sling it. He's going to throw interceptions. Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But if he gets hurt, our backups really haven't played because, to be honest, we've had a lot of close games. Or a lot of, we've had to score. Yeah, he played our backup played in the South Alabama game, but that's South Alabama. We're in SEC play now, so our backup ain't coming in unless Nussmeier gets hurt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we can handle Arkansas. We just can't come in, thinking, oh, it's just Arkansas. No, they just beat Tennessee. They were number 5 or 6 when they beat them. So Arkansas Arkansas proved they could beat a top 5 team. So we can't come in sluggish.
It's doable.
But let's move on from that. This is probably going to be the game of the week right here, Texas and Georgia. The way Texas did Oklahoma, they won't do that to Georgia. I wouldn't think. If they do that to Georgia, oh yeah, you might as well go ahead and give them the national championship if they do that. If they beat Georgia like that, there's nobody that can beat Texas.
This is going to be Texas's biggest test all season.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think I want to roll with the upset just because I think Georgia will rise to the occasion.
I don't think so. I think Texas beats them 35-28.
Give me Georgia 2 possessions, 42-28.
I just don't see Georgia scoring that much. Texas has got a really good defense, but it's always games like this that you always think it's going to be close and somebody blows the other person out. This might be the game where Carson Beck enters his name into the Heisman candidacy. He might come out here and throw for 500 yards. They may run Texas off the field. But
I think they'll do that.
then again, Texas may come out there and run Georgia off the field because Georgia's defense is not that good. They gave up
Yeah,
31 points to Mississippi State.
I don't think either team will run the other off the field, but I do think that
I
one
didn't think
team.
Texas was going to beat Oklahoma like that, and they did.
Yeah, but Oklahoma has no offense. The five of their top wide receivers, all their top wide receivers are hurt. So that makes sense now that they can't really move the ball down the field because they're playing with a bunch of young guys out there. Makes sense. Now, what I liked in that game was that early on it was a closer game because Oklahoma's defense was playing really good. Georgia's defense might not be that great, but you got to remember they helped come down. They helped them come back from like a 28-point deficit to Alabama.
Yeah, I will say that. They came back from down 4 scores, 4 touchdowns.
If they can bring that defense to that Texas game, where are they playing at? They playing at Texas or at Georgia?
They're at Texas.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be tough. It'll be tough for sure, but I like Georgia winning game.
Game day's there too.
Score. Yeah, I'm gonna stand with my score 42-28. I just think Georgia's gonna make some really big plays. Texas has not seen a team like Georgia all season, and I think they punch them in the mouth early.
They got to. Quinn Ewers struggles kind of early. He starts off kind of slow, but they cannot let Georgia or they cannot let Texas get cooking.
Oh yeah,
Texas has got a lot of playmakers. They cannot let them get rolling. It was a close game, then all of a sudden Texas is up, 3 touchdowns. And then it was over from there because Oklahoma ain't gotten. But yeah, I think Texas wins 35-28. I think Texas is just going to be a little bit too much. I don't know. That game right there probably determines who's number 1 in the SEC. Probably, more than likely.
Yes. It'll be a part of a factor of who is number 1. If Georgia
wins, this is where the chaos can start. If Georgia can beat Texas,
yes,
this is where the momentum. This is where Georgia can kind of, I wouldn't say take over because they already lost to Alabama, but if they can beat Texas, this is where the chaos is going to start. If they beat Texas, if they don't beat Texas is probably a lock for.
Well, hold on.
Well, no, I can't say that because they still got to play some tough teams.
They still got to play Texas A&M, which is the only other undefeated team.
Texas A&M always, every year, loses to somebody they should.
Yeah.
They'll be the ones to get beat by Vandy.
And LSU.
Yeah, they'll be the ones to lose to. Yeah, they'll lose to LSU. They'll lose to somebody like they should. They'll lose to like Florida or somebody they shouldn't. They do it every year. It's like clockwork A&M.
This year seems a lot different, though.
Yeah, but all it takes is for Connor Wingman to get hurt again.
Their backup doesn't look bad, though. Marcel Reed.
Yeah, but
he's not your normal backup. He's seen some.
They ran Missouri off the field too. That's what was kind of scary.
So we'll see in a couple weeks.
Yeah, we'll see in a couple weeks. But we got Miami, Louisville. I think that's got the potential. I think Miami might drop their first game here.
Potential.
It's going to be a shootout. Neither one of them play defense.
Give me Miami, 42-35.
I'm going to take Louisville 35-38.
I just don't believe in Louisville being able to make that many plays. Miami's been tested, like thoroughly tested. They came back down from 20, and
they've been saved a lot. They've had some questionable calls.
I mean, they're undefeated though. It's hard to speculate. nobody can really speculate on that catch that got overturned. They would have given their first loss, and then
Miami
they
can't
did.
afford to lose because they don't play anybody.
Yeah,
The SEC is trash.
They came back down from 20 to beat Cal. So I feel like they've been tested. They've been in some close games already this season. Louisville, I think they already have like a couple losses. They got smacked by SMU.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't see Louisville winning the game. I think it'll be close though, because I think it'll be a lot of points that are going to be scored.
Yeah. Another upset, possibly, is Notre Dame and Georgia Tech.
Ooh, yeah, Georgia Tech has a really good run offense.
Yeah.
I think that might hurt Notre Dame. Give me
You took
Give me
Tech
Georgia Tech.
13-10.
Yeah, give me Georgia Tech. I think it'll be because both defenses are. Well, Notre Dame's defense is normally always good, but Georgia Tech's defense has improved. So I don't think either team scores a bunch.
I think Notre Dame will win 21-10. I think that they'll just be a little bit too physical for Georgia Tech. I think that their offensive line will they'll take a. It'll be close, but Notre Dame will kind of pull off about fourth quarter. They'll just wear them out eventually.
Okay.
But that's all I got for this week on week 7. College football wise, this week is huge for a lot of teams. Like we said, Alabama's got to win.
I think
I want
really
to touch
start
on
seeing
Alabama for a little bit. You got a second? I want to touch on Alabama for a second.
Go ahead.
So,
Yeah.
this is a big game for Kalen DeBoer. I want to say, people are trashing him. He's not. I'm so sick. I'm not even an Alabama fan, but I'm so tired of. Well, that's Nick Saban wouldn't have lost. Well, Nick Saban's not here. Let's stop that now. We're not calling Nick Saban. We're not doing none of that. This is Kalen DeBoer's team. Nick Saban's done. He retired. He has nothing to do with Alabama anymore. He's not the coach. Ain't got nothing to do with him. Kalen DeBoer has got to win this game. If he doesn't, he's probably going to lose some fans. It's hard to say that, but from what I've seen when they lost to Vandy, it was rough. And now it's rough. You had a close game against you had a close game against South Carolina. Alabama fans just aren't used to seeing this. It's hard.
From a fan
perspective. I'm an LSU fan,
from a fan perspective, it's a lot of these fans are just washed with the success of winning the championships and having all these successive 10+ win seasons and blah 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 and this and that. They forget where Bama comes from pre Nick Saban. So if you weren't a fan pre Nick Saban and you were a fan post Nick Saban, and you want to jump off the train just because Kalen DeBoer lost a few games for the season, then you weren't really a real Alabama fan anyways. I'm going to just say it like that. Because if you remember, Nick Saban went 7-6 in his first season. And
they were terrible.
2 years later. It's not, nothing is ever instant. They had to get over the hump against Florida to get their first national championship. There was Nick Saban was never perfect. He was only perfect one season when he won a national championship. Every other season, he had at least one loss. So let's not act like people just had way too many expectations for this man, and you got to realize he's coming from a different conference that's nowhere near as tough or physical. There's a gauntlet. It's a gauntlet every week for the SEC. You could play the worst SEC team, and they're going to give you the best game. Look at Georgia and Mississippi State. So, yeah, I mean, if he loses some fans, so what? I wouldn't even put it past them because they're not, like I said, they're not real fans.
The only thing I would be concerned about is them running him off.
I doubt it. He's not. I don't think he's paying attention to that noise because he's the coach, not the fans.
Well, I understand that, but sometimes it happens. Say he comes out, say they lose 3 games this year. Say they come out next year and lose 3 more games. It happens.
I mean, it's
I just
still a
don't
10-win
want
season.
people just got to relax. One, these are not his recruits. They're still Nick
Still
Saban's,
coming.
a little bit of his, but Alabama, first off, is a young team. They
Yeah.
lost a lot. They lost a lot to the transfer portal, the draft. People can say what they want. I mean, you lost a lot to the draft. The transfer portal hit them hard. You lost Isaiah Bond, one of your top receivers. You're
Yeah, but
not running
didn't
the
I tell
ball at
you?
all.
I told you they'd be fine with Isaiah Bond leaving, though, and so far they have been. Now,
Yeah.
running the football wise, yeah, they need to give the backs more carries because I'd hate to see either one of those guys go to a different team where they know they're gonna get as many touches as they want. I think overall, personally, and this is my personal opinion, I think talent wise, the team is a lot better than last season, but they're just not playing up to their potential at this point of the season. Yeah, they lost
Oh,
some
yeah.
people to the portal, but the people that they lost to the portal weren't guys that were playing meaningful football besides Caleb Downs and Isaiah. And whoever I think he was one of the safeties, but he plays for Ole Miss now. Outside of those 3 guys, everybody else who transferred were probably like backups who weren't getting a bunch of playing. So again, from my standpoint, talent wise, I think they're a better team. They just got to play up to it.
Yeah, they gotta eliminate the penalties too. And it's like I said earlier, it's hard nowadays and age in football. You gotta be careful what you say to these players because one wrong word and they're entering the portal. That's crazy to even say that right now. But
it's true.
You're pretty much this the NFL. They could care less what you're telling them at this point. Some of these kids got more. Some of these kids are making millions of dollars. You think they care?
I mean,
they don't care. They got their money.
The choice to deal with the adversity isn't really there anymore because you can really just go anywhere and still make more or basically the same amount of money that you're making wherever you're going.
And like you said, if you're good enough to go pro, it doesn't matter where you go.
Yeah.
If you're good and you can play like that, it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
I mean, you're gonna make the money. It doesn't matter. I don't know. This game right here is gonna be a huge test for DeBoer for sure.
Yeah, I think it's a huge test for everybody: DeBoer, the team, the fan base.
If their defense starts to struggle, you might want to look at a different defensive coordinator.
I think that has to be said at the end of the season because he's, again, like I said, it's a lot of these guys' first year in the SEC, so it's something that they really necessarily have to get adjusted to. You don't just come to the
injuries into account too. I don't know how many people y'all got hurt on the defensive side, but when people get hurt, yeah, well, okay, well, yeah, well, if people get hurt, that kind of saves you a little bit. Hey, well, I got 5 starters on my defense that aren't even playing. I got freshmen out here that never really played, and that showed against South Carolina because that's when South Carolina scored. As soon as Jackson came off the field, they were targeting that young corner hard, and there really wasn't nothing he could do because they kind of threw him into a situation that he hadn't played at all in a very close game. They just can't keep playing defense like that, or they will lose at least 2 more times. I'll say that. I speak from experience that we had one of the best offenses last year at LSU, and we lost because we couldn't stop anybody.
I
We
agree.
scored 50 points against Ole Miss. They just scored 55. We couldn't stop them.
Yeah.
I think Alabama will get it figured out. Milroe is definitely a difference maker. They just gotta. They're not. How do I put this? They're not letting Milroe run. Like they're having design runs, but him dropping back into throw, he ain't gonna do that. Not very much. Because when he does that, as soon as somebody's not open, he panics. He like freaks out, and then it's a disaster. That's why he throws
Nah,
interceptions.
that was more last season. You really only started to see that honestly, you really only started to see that in that game against South Carolina. In the game against South Carolina, he looked more like he did a lot
Oh
last
yeah,
year
they were
than he
getting
did
after him.
game.
That's what you got to
But
do. If anybody is going to beat Alabama, you got to go watch that South Carolina game.
yeah, you
If
got to
you
get him off
pressure
track.
Milroe and can contain him, don't let him run. But like, if you can just keep him like in that pocket, he really can't. He can get away from you. He's quick, but I don't know. You just got to pressure him because he panics. He like, I don't know. It's just like I don't know what's going through his mind. I don't know, but like he panics.
I don't even think it's he panics anymore. I think it's more of he's so pressed on trying to make a play. Like now
Yeah,
he's
that's exactly what
overthinking
I was
about.
fixing to say. That's exactly what
Yeah,
I was fixing to say. He's trying to make that play, and sometimes he forces when they played Vandy, he forced a couple balls he shouldn't have when he threw that pick six.
yeah, that one he definitely forced. He forced one against South Carolina too. But that's what I'm saying though. Like if you notice in those two games, like he's pressing too much on trying to make the play downfield instead of just instinctively running the football. Like I get you want to make a play down the field, but if nobody's open, you
Yeah,
gotta
why are you
go.
throwing it? Just run.
Yeah, you gotta go.
And you brought up a
It,
great point. Why? I don't understand. I don't know why they're not running the ball. I don't know anything about Jan Miller or Justice Haynes, but I mean they're
look,
averaging like 5.5 yards a carry between the both of them.
exactly
Why
from
are
what
we
I've
not
seen
running the
in the
ball?
games, they need more carries. I get you want to give Miro the ball, put him in space, and this, that, and the third, but do that to the edges. This QB draw stuff, like we got to stop doing that. Give the running backs the ball, let them run the ball between the tackles, and let them hit the edges and make some plays. Give them more carries.
Yeah, it's been a staple of the SEC. If you can't run the ball, you're going to get beat by some teams. You got to run it, at least some. You got to be able to run the ball, especially like when you. I know you're not going to like what I'm fixing to tell you, but playing like that, you ain't going to beat LSU playing like that.
I mean, that ain't gonna be anybody playing like that.
Yeah, they can.
I told you,
LSU is
man.
gonna. I would just if I'm an Alabama fan, I'm worried about 2 games left, and that's Tennessee, maybe. I'm circling that November 9th game because if I'm an Alabama fan and I watched what South Carolina did, I mean LSU was all over Ole Miss. Ole Miss's offensive line kind of sucks. They did say that a couple of times that that's Ole Miss's downside. But LSU was swarming Jackson Dart. But that's what you got to do with a quarterback like that. Because if not, Milroe is going to tear you apart if you don't get after him. He's going to run it all over you, or he's going to throw it to Ryan Williams or throw it to somebody. You got to get after him. If not, he's going to tear you apart.
I'm not gonna go too deep into the LSU game, but I think it'll be a lot like last
We'll have to see. Alabama just can't go like, say for instance, worst case scenario, Alabama drops to Tennessee and Missouri. That would be worst case scenario. But I think that'll be well. That's going to be the week where that's going to be a really good game. But yeah, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, I don't have anything else. I think that's all we got for y'all today. Looking forward to another big time week of college football. It's crazy to think that we're already like halfway through the season.
Yep.
But
Week 8.
of course, enjoying it. You gotta take it for what it is and just enjoy it while it's in the moment. And as always, like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode.